What's up? Welcome back to another video with Simone.
And your boy Dylan. Yeller.
So today, guys, it's football season. You already know we coming with y'all with that football action.
Yeah.
So his Falcons, you already see the sign. The Falcons matched up with the Seattle Seahawks this past Sunday, and there were many takeaways from the game. Two of the biggest, hugest storylines that came out of the Falcons-Seahawks matchup, if you weren't paying attention, one, the Falcons proved a lot more. The Falcons and Todd Gurley proved a lot more than, I won't say the critics, but the analysts.
Naysayers, haters, critics.
Than the people had going for them. They proved a lot more than, the spectators, the foreseers, the analysts had them doing. And the Seattle Seahawks also did the same thing as well. The Seattle Seahawks, are they looking like a championship team? That's what we're going to dive into today. But first off, hit the subscribe button because you guys already know. Yes, hit it.
Boom. Boom.
Hit that subscribe, like my boy Philly Notion says. Hit that subscribe, guys, because I'm trying to get 600 subscribers by the end of the month.
And I'm trying to get 300 by the end of the month.
You know what I'm saying? So go ahead and hit the subscribe, like, comment. Let's get into these big takeaways because you guys know the NFC is loaded, and now we have another team to watch out for, which is the Falcons. So Dylan, first I'm gonna start off by asking you, why should Falcons fans be impressed by what they saw on Sunday against the Seahawks?
Falcons fans should be impressed because of that first half we had. Yes, the Seahawks made adjustments, but they're a championship caliber football team. They're going to make adjustments. We did not make those proper adjustments, and we just did not look as good as the Seattle Seahawks for a couple of reasons. One, the Seahawks still have their main core. The Seahawks really didn't get anybody new offensively. Defensively, yes, they got Jamal Adams, who was the X factor. I'll get into him in a second. But offensively, they had more cohesion. Why is that such a big deal? Because of the preseason we did not have, because of the training camp we did not have. I mean, we had a training camp, but not a regular one. So with adding pieces like Todd Gurley, adding pieces like Hayden Hurst, yes, Matt and Julio still did their thing. Yes, Matt and Calvin Ridley still did their thing. But we had kind of some new pieces on the offensive line. This is kind of the first time this offensive line has been pretty whole. So we needed a little more time to get that cohesion together. And so the Falcons, y'all should be impressed because one, Todd Gurley looked good in that first half. He had 10 carries for 56 yards. He was on track to have an 100-yard game. Got the first touchdown of the season for the Atlanta Falcons. So Todd Gurley is looking good. The question is, will he be able to maintain this? Will his knees hold up throughout 16 games? I think yes, because we did a good job of keeping him on a pitch count. Only got 14 carries throughout the game. Now, part of that is because we were playing from behind, and that's also part of the reason why he only ended with 14 carries and 54 yards, either 54 or 56 yards. Either way, we started playing from behind, so we had to kind of go away from the run game, which is not good. But Todd Gurley will be on a pitch count, and so I think we will do a good job of keeping him fresh and making sure those knees don't wear down and can make it through 16 games. Another reason why you guys should be impressed with the Atlanta Falcons, Hayden Hurst was out there looking good, man. Made that big one-handed catch. Just had some good catches. I'm not worried about Austin Hooper. Hayden Hurst is gonna have a more productive season than Austin Hooper. I know, he didn't have that full time to, do his thing, on Sunday. But, I mean, he still looked good. I think it was like 5 receptions for 38 yards. We look good. And then, also, another big thing in the passing game. Yes, a lot of this came during garbage time, but we had 12 targets to Julio, Calvin Ridley, and Russell Gage. All ended up with over 100 receiving yards. So it's good Matt Ryan is able to throw it all over the yard again, not just to Julio or just to Calvin, but he's throwing it all over the yard. We got a good young slot receiver in Russell Gage. He proved to be a dude on Sunday. So that's good. Those are some good takeaways. And also, the biggest takeaway of all, this is the last one, I promise. Simone probably tired of me talking. But the biggest takeaway of all, that pass rush, that Falcons pass rush has some life to it. Takk McKinley sacked right off the bat. First play from scrimmage. Grady Jarrett did his thing. 1.5 sacks and 1.5 tackles for loss. Dante Fowler got in the mix with a half a sack and 1.5 tackles for loss. That pass rush seems to come to life. Now, Russell Wilson Didn't move it around. We didn't see much of it in the second half. They made adjustments, but we got to learn to make adjustments too. That'll come throughout the season. But those are some good takeaways for the Atlanta Falcons. So guys, be optimistic. That's a championship caliber team we were against, and we were in the game for that first half. We showed heart at the end too. We kind of came back. We did our thing, but as a championship team we're going up against, we'll make adjustments and we'll get there, guys. That's just a really good football team we lost to, and we beat ourselves. I'll explain that a little bit later on in this video. We beat ourselves, and I'll give you some reasons why, but let's keep it pushing.
I feel like, I wouldn't call those takeaways, I would call that an essay. But yes, the biggest thing really with the Falcons is that they had big plays all around. They showed, like you said, they had a lot of new pieces, of course, and we saw a lot of other teams, including, an NFC South contender in the Bucs that also came out and looked funky because they had a lot of new pieces. Exactly. But the fact that Ridley, Julio, and then the new guy, Gage, were all able to get off and be productive and show flashes of, if they can all get in sync. If they're not coming up against such a scary team like the Seahawks, then yes, they can be very dangerous. Also, the defensive line showing everything that they showed, especially since you guys were bottom of the league in sacks last season. Just knowing that you can get after not just any quarterback, but Russell Wilson, because the Seahawks was a very loaded team. And I will say, guys, we have to watch out. These other NFC teams don't roll over on the Falcons. Definitely keep watching out for the Falcons and what they do, especially since the NFC is so loaded. Everybody's gonna be looking out for those wild card spots. The Bucs didn't look the best. I will say the Falcons, I feel like they have more potential than the Bucs just because they, like you said, Matt has Julio. Matt has that chemistry between those two. We know, okay, yes, Tom has Gronk still, but Gronk isn't in his bag anymore. Like Julio is still in his bag. And I just think that the chemistry between Matt and Julio is going to be very vital down the stretch. Also, that defensive front. But let's talk about the Seattle Seahawks for a minute because they came up against a very, very, very tough team in the Seattle Seahawks. And now people are saying, are the Seahawks a championship contender? First of all, we always know, like in the last couple of years, the Seahawks are always a championship contender. But they look like a juggernaut yesterday. And the biggest thing is Jamal Adams. The storyline of the offseason. Everybody was saying, did the Seahawks give up too much for Jamal Adams? No. Talk about how Jamal was such an X factor in the game.
Jamal wreaked havoc on us, Matt Ryan, that old line, the whole game yesterday. 12 total tackles, 8 solo tackles. He had, I believe it was, let me go to my notes.
Anyway, while he's...
Hold on. I got it. All right, I'm going to just start over.
No, you're not. We keep it this. Go ahead. We're not cutting it out, guys. Here it is.
We don't cut this out.
No, we're not.
Jamal Adams was a wrecking ball the whole game yesterday. He terrorized the offense. Matt Ryan, everybody. 12 total tackles, 8 solo tackles. He had 2.5 tackles for loss, 2 quarterback hits, I believe a sack as well. Jamal Adams did his thing. He was the X factor, and he came in and improved right away. Game 1, why 2 first-round picks was not too much. It might have not even been enough after you saw him yesterday. He came in, and he's happy where he is too, so he's playing happy. He loves where he's at. He said he feels like he's spoiled in Seattle. So Jamal Adams is happy. He's out there showing, and he's balling out. And he definitely hurt us last game.
Yeah, so the Seattle Seahawks, Russell looked scary. We already know dangerous. He looked dangerous. The Seattle offense was supercharged. Definitely going to have to be a team to watch out for. The NFC, like I said, is just so jam-packed, but don't sleep on the Falcons, especially after the way the Bucs were looking yesterday. Not saying it's over for the Bucs, but the Bucs were looking like a bunch of pieces just met up at the cookout, still getting to know each other.
And that's really what they are. I mean, Tom Brady, he had some offensive work with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, stuff like that, but we saw an interception happen strictly because of the lack of chemistry between Tom Brady and Mike Evans. He thought Mike Evans was going to keep going on this kind of like elevated slant route that he went, but Mike Evans stopped because he didn't think he was getting the ball. Tom Brady kept throwing it, and it was an interception for the Saints. So that just goes to show when you don't have the time to get to know your receivers, build that chemistry with receivers on timing routes like that. That can be the difference between a first down, a completion, or an interception. That chemistry is huge, and that's why, I say you can't worry about, this first game, especially with the offseason that, the NFL had, because these receivers and these quarterbacks haven't had time to get to know each other if they haven't already had that chemistry like a Matt and Julio, Russell Wilson, Tyler Lockett, what have you. So, there's going to be times where in this first part of the season that these offenses don't look good, and it showed a lot last week. A lot of these new offenses, new quarterbacks, new receivers did not look good together because of the lack of the preparation that they had.
That's a fact. So is anything lastly you want to wrap up and say?
There's a couple of things I want to wrap up and say. One, I want to get to, just why the Falcons beat themselves real quick. They beat themselves because, first of all, that we have a young backfield.
Because y'all was playing as the Seahawks.
That's not the only reason. The Seahawks look good, yes, but we beat ourselves. We were right there. We had a chance to beat the Seahawks. I'm explaining to you why, so go ahead and sip your tea. So, one, you can't give up a 4th and 5, 38-yard touchdown pass. You can't give up a 38-yard touchdown pass on 4th and 5.
You think?
And I know. And that's when we're only down 2 points, I believe, at that point. We're down 2 points, about to get a stop, about to have a chance to take the lead, and we give up a touchdown pass. That changed the whole game after that. Then Russell Wilson started picking on A.J. Terrell. And no shade to Russell Wilson. He was great. 31 for 35, 333 yards or something like that, and 4 touchdowns. But he was picking on a young backfield. A.J. Terrell's rookie. We got 2- and 3-year guys back there with him as well. So Russ looks like Russ, but he was also picking on a young backfield. So the key is our young backfield defensive backs, are they going to progress throughout the season, or are we going to have trouble back there all season long? So that's another reason. One reason as well, we cannot convert a fake punt and then fumble the ball. That was another game-changing play. You try to get momentum by, going for it and showing a little trickery, and you do it, and then you can't just hold on to the ball and you fumble it and give the ball right back to the Seahawks. Again, that takes momentum away. These games are all about momentum. Once you get some momentum going and you just give it up, then that takes the life out of the offense, the defense, the whole entire team, and that's when you start to see the Seahawks run away with it. Again, and then on back-to-back plays, A.J. Terrell got burned by Tyler Lockett, and Russell found him deep a couple of times. So again, that's just our young backfield having to come together and mesh, and it's going to take game reps. So we really beat ourselves, guys. We were right there with the Seahawks, and I mean, we look good otherwise. So it's just going to take some time, but the good news is Dallas does not have Russell Wilson. They got Dak Prescott, who is not a game changer and a playmaker like Russell Wilson is.
Thing when we get to it.
I know, this is just a little preview, get a little taste, wet their whistle a little bit. But I don't think Dak Prescott, bottom line is, Dak Prescott is not Russell Wilson. He's not going to do the same thing that Russ did to the Falcons. Dak not going to do the same thing to the Falcons. So we're going to be all right, y'all. We're going to bounce back.
Well, that was a lot, but I hope you guys, took some things away from it. Thank you so much for watching the video. We already know we got to keep our eyes on the Seattle Seahawks, but that's no question. But the big question is, should we keep our eyes on the Falcons? We'll see next week, and we'll see the week after and the week after before we can really make a true assessment. You can't really go off game one. So go ahead and subscribe again if you didn't already. Turn on your notification bell. We already know we've been bringing y'all the best takes, period.
Period.
Bye.
Bye.